At 2 a.m. on September 21st, 2025, Black Sea near Crimea Air Base, Crimea. Following Ukraine's devastation of one-third of the Black Sea fleet, Russia rolled out its final bulwark, the Beriev B-12 amphibious aircraft. These were the elite trackers, the all-seeing sentinel, that Russia trusted to halt the losses and crush Ukraine's boldness once and for all. They miscalculated. 125 miles distant, a flock of 10 drones was already racing in their direction. This marks a calculated strike, where eliminating these elite trackers ensures Ukraine's predators reclaim dominance over the waters. Yet first, they must navigate a deadly obstacle course. The initial threat looms as a Russian Su-30 fighter jet patrols at 500 feet. Its Bars-M radar scans the heavens, but it detects nothing at all. The drones hug the terrain too closely, leveraging Earth's curve as an ideal invisibility shroud. The next hazard proves far deadlier. Abruptly, silence engulfs the lead drone as a blast from a Krasuka 4 electronic warfare unit hits it, a cyber toxin overwhelming its sensors with garbage signals. The global positioning system connection is severed. For survival, the drone's artificial intelligence must take a risky leap, shifting to inertial navigation. Yet this life-saving maneuver exacts a heavy toll, as navigating sightless and endlessly adjusting against fierce ocean gusts is draining its power reserves fast. The operator's display flashes a grim alert. The lead drone's battery dives to 30%. It might have bypassed the jammer, but time emerges as the fresh foe. The whole swarm trails a sightless frontrunner on fading power, heading straight for the planet's most fortified shoreline. At 2:14 a.m., the group grazing waves at 165 feet wages an unrelenting clash with nature itself. 10-foot swells test their balance, as a 25 miles per hour side gust demands the drone's control surfaces make countless tiny tweaks each second. This physics showdown carries a steep price. For the frontrunner in blind inertial mode, each moment exacts a battery penalty. The toll, a shocking 8% per 30 seconds. In the command vehicle, Rubaka controllers watch the countdown helplessly. They're threading this operation by a razor. Right when relief appears, another threat materializes, as a Russian Orion drone, a long-stamina reconnaissance asset, hovers close to Crimea. Unlike the Su-30, this stalker isn't radar-dependent on the swarm. It skips echo hunts, and instead, it tunes into the subtle 5.8 gigahertz murmur from the Rubaka's video stream, the lone signal that might expose them. Ukraine's riposte is bold and ingenious. Total blackout. One order cuts their video feed, casting operators into darkness. They've staked the mission and their trust fully on the swarm's self-governing artificial intelligence, set to tap cached Starlink satellite information for guidance back. One issue resolved, but a chilling shift unfolds. Henceforth, the drones operate solo. At 2:25 a.m., 15 miles from Crimea Air Base, with the swarm resetting its route, it slips into the kill zone of a meticulously crafted trap. This layered defense doctrine demands breaching each tier. Layer 1, the S-400 setup. It dominates airspace over 1,000 feet, compelling foes into skim-low paths. Precisely Russia's aim, as driving drones to wave-level herds them into the second tier's maw, the Pantsir Swan. This was the matchup drones should dodge. The Pantsir Swan excels at close-in takedowns, firing smart missiles to dismantle swift, tiny threats in a 12-mile bubble, tailored for items like cruise missiles and drones alike. Having dodged the jammer and jet, the drones plunge toward their innate nemesis from the outset. Should any evade by luck or finesse, the ultimate fallback awaits. The May 8 chopper isn't mere prey, it's a roving sentinel. Its President S isn't ordnance. It's a disorienting burst of infrared radiation crafted to drive a heat-guided drone's targeting system into total madness. At 2:31 a.m., 8 miles from Crimea Air Base, Russia's defenses form an impregnable bastion of metal and detection arrays. But Ukraine skipped the siege engine. They deployed a master key. The strategy, dubbed Rubaka Shadow Swarm, delivers a virtuoso lesson in digital misdirection. They tackle the circling Su-30 first. While 7 core drones skim the sea surface, 3 swarm extras ascend modestly and trigger a unique transponder. They emit a bogus radar echo, the 9 GHz profile of a Ukrainian Su-27 warplane. To the Russian aviator's display, those minuscule drones morph into a genuine fighter wing. The snare is laid, and the lure hooks. The Su-30 aviator veers sharply, pulling a maneuver so extreme it pins him to his chair at 9 G-forces, while he rockets off to chase phantoms 10 miles from the true assault. Fighter diverted, the primary group confronts the S-400 and Pantsir. Russia's radar shortfall isn't weakness, it's overkill. The Rubaka's radar signature measures a mere 0.05 square meters, about dinner plate dimensions, for a defense grid costing billions, tuned to spot bombers and missiles. Such minuscule blips get dismissed as trivial interference, akin to avian flocks or weather static. The globe's priciest barrier harbors a vulnerability, and Ukraine threads it precisely. Lastly, they cripple the Mi-8's ultimate safeguard, pre-strike. A single drone totes an advanced French electronic warfare module, courtesy of a Mirage 2000. It bypasses radar disruption, it assaults the President S's infrared sensor. Think of it as blasting a tactical spotlight straight into a nocturnal guard camera. The gear survives intact, yet blinded beyond recovery. At around $200,000, Ukraine methodically unravels a multi-layered shield valued in the hundreds of millions. 0 rounds expended. The stronghold stands ajar. Strike time. At 2:37 a.m., Ukrainian handlers grasp that quiet foes scheme deeply. Time to compel reaction. A decoy drone performs its scripted ploy. It disperses chaff clouds 1,000 meters out. A time-honored radar spoof, a metallic haze to gauge Pantsir response speed, a shrewd feint, yet it sparked instant fallout. The chaff bewildered the Pantsir's auto-tracker, but that horizon spark sufficed for visual spotting. Tarmac Mi-8 personnel, vigilance maxed, caught the gleam. To them, a signal flare, hallmark of assault inbound. The operation flipped from stealthy breach to hot combat. Mi-8 rotors thunder awake. In under 60 seconds, aloft, its potent scanners prowl and it pinpoints a rising decoy. Target locked. A Verba surface-to-air missile hurtles through the dark at Mach 2. The decoy Rubaka erupts in a muted blaze. The swarm suffers its initial casualty. The launch flares on the Su-30 pilot's instruments, and realization dawns. He's pursued illusions. Furious, he wrenches his jet into a reversal, surging toward the base. Distance still bars his primary ordnance, so he opts for the crude alternative. He fires a barrage of unguided S-8 rockets, a barrage of 150mm projectiles, and the blast wave tears across the swarm's projected position. No finesse here, pure savagery meant to fracture the drone's cohesive array. The concussions strike like a sledgehammer, hurling the fragile craft 100 meters astray. Precisely amid this turmoil and vertigo, the Pantsir Swan stirs to life. The core swarm, briefly lifted from its sea-skimming trajectory, yields a clear radar fix. Emerald aim icons light up over 2 additional Rubakas. The snare snaps shut, disrupted, Krasuka jammed, and pinned between an overhead jet and the ultimate anti-drone sentinel below, the swarm teeters. This crux defined the strategy. To Russian crews, it looks like pandemonium. Hidden from view, the drones cut ties with distant controllers 125 miles off. Now, they communicate among themselves. Ukraine unleashes its trump, artificial intelligence swarm coordination. A stealthy, coded, low-energy channel pulses among the surviving 7, forging a self-reliant mesh network. Russia's operator Blackout backfired. The machines pivoted to peer-to-peer chatter, like killing a stadium gig by yanking the grid, then finding the performers with backup generators. In a flash, the artificial intelligence maps the altered field. It dismisses the Su-30, notes the Pantsir fixation, gauges the Mi-8 peril, and crafts a flawless assault scheme in nanoseconds. The swarm evolves beyond mere cluster into a sentient entity. It divides into 3 self-directed strike teams, 4 charge straight at the prized ground-based B-12S. 2 veer sharply, repurposed to pursue the flying Mi-8. The final decoy diverges, pressing its fatal roll to bait Pantsir shots. Deep in Kacha's control center, mayhem reigns. The boss bellows for updates, his displays mock with chaff veils, 1 lone decoy then void. The lead pack dips to wave crests and evaporates from detection. Up in the Su-30, the flyer gapes at his blank scope, shouting over communications. Where are they? Where are they? Wrong query entirely. The real query should have been, how many seconds until his outpost met its end? At 2:40 a.m., trickery yields to onslaught. The hour of reckoning dawns. In Ukraine's remote operations trailer, the controller turns observer to the artificial intelligence's flawless, savage orchestration. He monitors the data streams, fingers poised over obsolete switches, his sole remaining duty, to observe. 10 seconds, he whispers to the microphone. Execute. The 7 drones react without delay. They abandon wave hugging and climb, then plunge at a brutal 45-degree dive. Evasion ends. Assault begins, racing to max speed of 125 miles per hour. Groundside, the Pantsir's 1 handler battles desperately. His setup handles sequential hunts, lock, follow, eliminate one or perhaps two foes. Now 7 assail from varied angles at once. The processor wails under the unsolvable math. Missiles fire, then more. A hopeless bid, like swatting a hornet cloud with a marksman's shot. Aloft, the Mi-8 aviator skips combat for retreat. He banks fiercely to flee the death zone, but time's up. 2 drones fix on his thermal outline. Base strikes forgotten. They're predators now. At last, the Su-30 aviator returns, a stunned onlooker to the climax. Optical feeds reveal the raid, yet he's impotent. His pricey missiles target lofty jets, not flimsy wood drones under 100 feet. Via the front-runner drone's heat imager, the prey sharpens. The signature gull-winged Beriev B-12, static and exposed on the apron. Distance plummets alarmingly, 1,500 feet, 1,000. Inside Koch's operations shelter, the leader roars over the link. Halt them! Bring them down! Powerless to intervene, he witnesses doom. At 2:41 and 12 seconds, the Pioneer drone hammers the Beriev B-12's wing. Its 110-pound high-explosive anti-tank charge spews copper plasma at 25,000 feet per second, boring through 2-inch alloy plating. In that instant, as the molten mass pierces the hull, it sparks the 2,000-pound fuel load. The blast hurls a pressure front at supersonic speeds. The surge shreds the defenseless structure. Before the initial blaze crests, a follow-up drone hits the underbelly, smack amid anti-submarine torpedoes. The chain reaction blast of 500-pound explosives bisects the B-12. Another duo mirrors the hits on the second plane. At the same instant, the Mi-8 trackers narrow in. The flyer's frantic dodges fail. First drone crushes the tail rotor assembly, slicing it off. As the chopper spirals earthward, the second punches the body, triggering the onboard Ataka anti-tank arsenal. The chopper shreds internally, its arsenal turning traitor in the carnage. From his perch, the Su-30 flyer orbits in futility, a high-tech bystander witnessing the obliteration of the prizes he swore to defend. Below, the Pantsir setup goes quiet. The onslaught, from initial strike to finale, spanned under 30 seconds. The fallout paints a tableau of mechanical ruin. Once 2 $10 million patrol planes and a $15 million rotorcraft, now mere scorched debris clusters on the shadowed runway. Ukraine's outlay for the 10 drones, about $200,000. Russia's toll, $35 million in vaporized gear. Worse still, a devastating tactical blow. B-12 spotters gone. Moscow's capacity to hunt Ukraine's Magura sea drones lies gutted. The Divine Watcher, sightless. This swift 3-minute raid clears key Odesa waterways and compels Russia to field pricier tools like Orion drones in endless gas-hungry vigils, draining coffers relentlessly. Russia hauled a citadel into a dagger duel, blind to how Ukraine's edge pierced the frailest seams. What key Russian stronghold merits Ukraine's next hit? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Love this deep dive into cutting-edge conflict? Smash like and subscribe to catch the upcoming raid.